This is my discussion slash review for 911 Lone Star Season 4, Episode 10, titled Sellouts. And 100%, Paragon is a sellout. Let's talk about it.
Live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings, I'm a big fight.
This episode, titled Sellouts, really sold out this episode, if you will, because we were dealing with Paragon, yet again, the paramedic company that we dealt with, and the company that's all about profits and insurance, and that's the only way they're going to treat people. Now, I get the whole concept behind it because, yeah, it takes money to run a hospital, it takes money to run an ambulance and stuff like that, but you still can't just leave people abandoned because they don't have insurance or because they can't pay for it. You know, you still got to help them and just charge them later like every other hospital does. You know what I'm saying? But Paragon is back this episode, and that's not the only thing that's back. Pierce is back, which just happens to be the guy that, you know, that was in the 126, that left the 126, that made this whole ordeal about Tommy and Owen. So suffice to say, we're dealing with a lot of stuff this episode pertaining to Paragon and Pierce. But I will say this, while also selling out and dealing with Paragon this episode, we're finished with Paragon. This episode started with us dealing with something that was just, I'm gonna be 100%, it was a little gross in my opinion, man. The little old lady that's wearing contacts, and I have wore contacts before, and I've never forgotten to take them out. I'm gonna chunk it up to her being older and her forgetting, like she said, she forgot, and sometimes they fall in there and they stay in, and she had like 12 lodged up in the upper parts of her eye. Oh my gosh, I could just see it now. Vividly, the pus and the yellowness. No, oh my gosh, it was nasty, man. 100%. But I can see it happening, I guess, to someone that's forgetful. But I never really forgot like that, man, when I wore contacts. I mean, it was more so annoying, you know, sometimes waking up to put them in. So that's why I went back to glasses. But I never forgot a contact was in my eye. But like I said, I'll chunk it up to her being a little older. And they're normally called Paragon, but this time her husband or boyfriend or whatever called actual 911, and that's where the 126 showed up. And we bump into Paragon and Pierce. And Tommy and everybody else, oh my gosh, it's Pierce. God, I hate that guy. It is very understandable after dealing with Pierce and knowing who he is. But this episode, we see that Paragon is trying to take over all of the clients that the regular paramedics have to deal with, and they want to kind of take in that profit that you would get from the city and extra money and everything like that. Sure, they're making their own money, but they'll be making a lot more if they get paid from the city, because the city is having to deal with not having paramedics, not having a lot of the supplies that they need because of the shortage of everything in the world today. So that's understandable of them wanting to help, but they're not helping for a good reason. They're helping for profit. And like I said, I know money, it takes money to run all this stuff, but the way that they come across it, man, like all they care about is the person have insurance and that. Yeah, you should have insurance, but everybody can't afford insurance. You know what I'm saying? So you still have to help these people when they call 911 or call the paramedics. You know what I'm saying? Not, well, we can't really treat you because you don't have insurance. No, that's not the case. That's not right. But anyway, man, it is what it is. But we're dealing with Paragon again, and I really hate those guys, man. I really, really do. But that's not the only thing this episode. We see Owen is doing a Stand Up to Cancer benefit where he's talking to some of the higher up elites in Austin, Texas, and he ends up meeting this bartender named Kendra, which yet again, Owen finds a lovely woman. And him and the lady kind of hit it off, and they do their thing. And she pays him $100,000 in a check, but it's not for Owen. It's for Stand Up to Cancer, and Owen just takes it and runs with it, and everybody's having a fun time living in this idea fantasy that Owen is a gigolo. You know, that she's paying Owen for sex. Let's be 100%. The lady is very attractive. She's very attractive, and she's rich, okay? So the idea of her having to pay Owen for sex, do you honestly think that she can't get sex on her own? And Owen realized this like the moment he said it. It was like, well, nah, she's way too attractive. You know, she can get sex. You know, that's not the thing. But he was really dealing with like the idea of him being an American gigolo, so to speak. And Mateo was playing with it as well, man. I love this episode and that aspect with Owen. But long story short, we see that wasn't the case. It was something revolving around her brother you know, and she wanted to help Owen in that aspect. And I like the way that it kind of resolved. And hopefully Owen can really stick it out, man, because, you know, she's not worried about Owen, you know, not having money or anything like that. Owen's not worried about her having money. You know, they really just enjoy each other's company. And hopefully Owen can get a relationship out of this, and it'll kind of pull his focus to that. And one thing we all know after watching Lone Star all these seasons, Owen can't really keep a woman. Let's be 100%. But hopefully with a strong, independent woman like this, to be fair, all the other women were independent as well and strong-willed women. But, you know, this chick, she ain't coming with no baggage or anything like that, so to speak anyway. So you're good to go, Owen. So hopefully we can see Owen in a fully committed relationship and something that'll blossom possibly into more, and he doesn't really have to, you know, try to find stuff to really involve himself in. And big ups to Owen for that, man. I'm kind of happy and hope that this kind of goes forward as the series progresses. That's pretty much the entire episode, basically. We had more cases about the one with the guy on the bus with the blood. And the episode wasn't a bad episode, but it just was... It kind of revolved around the Paragon thing, and everything else kind of felt like second nature, in my opinion. It was just like an add-on. I'm not mad at it because I enjoy Lone Star. It's nice to see the characters, and it was great to see Marjan back in the house, even though nobody else really had a lot of screen time this time. Everything was kind of divided. The house really wasn't the main focus. It was the Paragon stuff with Nancy, Tommy, and TK, and then the Owen whole side project with him and Kendra. So, like, it was kind of divided, but it wasn't a bad episode. I'm gonna be 100%. It wasn't great, but I still enjoyed it because I enjoy 911 Lone Star. But let's talk about the highlight of this episode, which just happens to be the conclusion of, you know, what is it, Paragon? Yeah, Paragon. Their truck blew up after they was taking someone from an incident and trying to save him or whatever, only because he had great insurance. Their truck exploded, and Pierce got caught in it. Now, he almost died, but Tommy saved him, which was, I feel like it was a nice comeuppance for Pierce. But big ups on Tommy because, you know, she was not just going to let him die like that. But the fact that Pierce realizes that Paragon is garbage, and like he had been filing complaints after complaint, but the guy never really took Pierce serious because all he did was make complaints. Now, sure, it was annoying when he was doing it to the 126 and telling on Tommy and Owen, but the fact that he is that kind of person, he kept records and he always complained and he knew that this stuff wasn't up to par, kind of came to bite the dude back in the butt. But it was a good part on Pierce because now he's suing Paragon for $20 million, okay? And more than likely he's going to get it because he made detailed records, because they were using secondhand equipment, reused equipment, because it was cheaper to cut costs that way, and then trying to get more from the bottom line from the patients that they were helping, which solidifies garbage. Overall, like I said, the episode really revolved around the Paragon thing, but it wasn't a great episode, but I enjoyed it because I still love 911 Lone Star. It's your boy Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe. Peace out.
I cannot complain because today, I'm doing my